this episode, I talked to Maxime Etienne, known on Instagram as @Max_brother. He specializes in a sort of fine line surrealism style, creating unique original concepts in each piece. Max has spent most of his time tattooing in Australia, but over the last few years, he's made his way around the world doing guest spots throughout Europe and North America, New Zealand, pretty much all over. I met Max in Los Angeles back in 2018, and something that really stood out to me is how supportive he is to other tattoo artists. He's really made a name for himself in this fine line style of tattooing, and I'm always excited to see what he's doing next. My name is Jake Berry, and this is The Fine Line. Max, when did you start tattooing? It hasn't been that long, has it?
I would say it's about 4.5 years ago, maximum 5. I think pretty much like a lot of self-taught artists, I just bought a machine on eBay for like probably a $40 kit. Really dodgy stuff. I get infected with the ink and all that stuff, but you learn from your mistakes. I just wanted to get some tattoos, like more than what I have already. I wanted like another sleeve and some of my legs, and I went around different studios and it was really expensive. I couldn't afford it. So I just decided to do it myself. Because I already had tattoos since I was 18, so I saw the process of the stencil. And when you don't know nothing, when you see an artist taking a stencil, you're like, oh, he's just going to trace it, coloring like a children's book, and done. But I got it all wrong because my first tattoo was terrible. Did it on myself, trained on my chest, my arms, my legs, and then I had some friends that already had some dodgy tattoos, so they were like, you can't do worse than I already have, so go for it. So practicing on a lot of friends, on myself for about a year, and then some tattoo artists, like when I was in a bar, just saw the tattoo that I've done on my chest, and he asked who did it, and I was like, I did it. I was like, oh, cool, so where do you work? I was like, oh, dude, I'm not a tattoo artist, I'm just doing this for fun. And this guy actually just told me like I should visit them in the studio and just chat about it. So I was like, yeah, why not? I should. And I went there, I talked with the artist, and they told me that I'm kind of ready to start, that to be a professional. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I asked my license in Australia because it takes a month to get it. And then I started from scratch. And then that's pretty much it. Just started from nowhere because I've never been drawing before. I'm quite lucky that I figured out I was able to tattoo.
So you weren't drawing or painting or anything before you started tattooing?
Not at all. When I started, I'm 32 now, so yeah, I was about 27, I would say, when I started. I was like that kid, like really bad at school, at the bottom of the class, and just trying to graffitis and stuff like that. So I was just doing crap like this. I think like pretty much like Adam. And then I never thought I could do something with that. The only person who liked my drawings was my mom, when I was a kid. So I never did something with that. And it just came from scratch. So I started for a year when I was practicing, when I said earlier. The whole year was just on paper with a $40 coin machine, and I was doing stencil by hand as well, so I didn't have a printer. Everything was by hand, so I learned a lot with that. Once you can actually tattoo yourself and figure out how it heals and how the skin reacts, you can just learn on your own, I guess.
So since you weren't really into art before tattooing, what is it maybe the look of tattoos or that got you interested in tattooing?
Well, tattooing, it's a cool job. Like, I used to have friends that were tattoo artists when I was 18, 20, and those are the guys that started some of my tattoos on me. And I loved their lifestyle. It was cool because those guys were called artists. It was like, what do you do? I'm an artist. What do you do? Okay, tattoo. Well, tattoo was not a really good word to say, it's like kind of cliche. But they were still artists. They were working for themselves. They were loving their job. So I always wanted to be, but I didn't know I could do it. So when I realized I can actually do something with tattooing, I don't know, I figure out maybe I should try it. And when I see this artist that kind of pushed me to try it for real as a professional, all of a sudden I was like, damn, I can actually be a real tattoo artist. Because for a year I was just doing this for fun. And I took that really seriously from one day to another. And I started to do like 12, 14 hours every day, 6 days a week for like 2 years.
Wow.
And then, some people like AJ, Mommy, I'm Sorry, and different studios like saw my work and they asked me to come. So I've been guesting and I learned from different artists. So I took I found a passion. From the moment someone told me like, you can't be a professional, so like a real artist told me that, I was like, damn, maybe he's right. And I took that really seriously. I don't know, I need like a revelation from a professional, from like a real opinion.
And do you still work those long hours like that, like 12, 14-hour days?
Nah, I mean, for 3 years, and I had a bit of a health issue. I worked like really way too much. There was not really a good like lifestyle. But that's what it is. It's like when you work at uni. You like apprenticeship and you do uni and at the same time you work. That's what it is. So I went back like when I was 20 years old at 27, like that lifestyle. But then I realized, health wise, that was really bad. Like, I didn't eat. Smoke cigarette, the stress. As much as you're really happy at what's happening in your life, and at the same time it's like kind of pull me down. So that's when I just decided after 2 years to 2.5 years to actually open my own studio, and then I took it like more chill. So I had the opportunity, because I was my own boss pretty much, to decided to do just one client a day, and then maybe not every day. So I started to do 2 or 3 clients every week, and then bigger and bigger tattoos, or maybe need more time to draw. It just came, but 2.5 years, maybe nearly 3 years of like really hard work, but that was worth it.
Yeah.
I think every kind of job you have to go through that, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And you opened a studio in Australia. And last I heard, you're moving out of Australia. Are you coming back to Europe?
Going back to Europe, so not France. Nothing about France. I'm just not really interested to go back where I'm from. So, but I really love Amsterdam. I went working there a couple of times with Nikita. It's an artist there. And then I got some friends, and I just love the vibe. I just love the city. I love the people. I love the look of it. I miss the architecture in Europe as well, because Australia's got beautiful views and everything, but I miss that city vibe of Europe, a bit more history behind the city, when you walk in the streets, and I really miss that, and that kind of artist vibe. Because Australia is a bit missing that, how can I say that really artistic vibe. I don't really feel it that much in Australia. It's a beautiful country. It's sunny all the time. You go for a surf, you work out, like you have some healthy brekkie. So it's a hell of a good lifestyle. I love it here. But artistic wise, I think I need to go, Amsterdam or Paris or New York, or, you need to have more contact and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
It's really cool that you could travel around the world now and still build up your clientele wherever you go. Do you think Instagram is solely responsible for that, or do you think maybe because you've traveled a lot and done guest spots, you've kind of like established more clients in other countries?
I mean, to be honest, like most of the tattoo artists that are quite successful today and have like a big clientele, it's all due to Instagram. I mean, of course, your work. I mean, if you show shit on Instagram, you wouldn't get people to follow you. But without Instagram, like most of us wouldn't be where we are right now, because back in the day, you just walk in a shop, you just open the book when you're waiting on the seat, and you just pick like a random flash tattoo. You don't even know who the artist is. Maybe you can read some magazines. I don't know, but I didn't know anyone who was doing it back in the day. Only the tattoo artists were reading the tattoo magazine. So Instagram is pretty much everything for us. Like, I wouldn't be where I am with Instagram, that's for sure. I hate Instagram as much as I love it. I think we all do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We all do.
I know, but it's like essential, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that's the biggest marketing like media platform you can ever use. You know what I mean? You can build a website or whatsoever, but it doesn't put your name out there. So yeah, like traveling. The first time I traveled was with Tritalent, like 7-Day Studio in Auckland, New Zealand. That pretty much like changed my life in terms of tattooing. I met this guy, I met the team, Sarah, Phoebe, and all the others, and I don't know, I just opened my eyes like, damn, I can actually do that in so many other countries and meet so many other artists. And straight away, Mommy, I'm Sorry, and then all the studios, and I went traveling around. But yeah, I guess Instagram made it work. But it's so important for me to guest. Like guesting in terms of nowadays, like industry of tattoo, you need to do that. You need to do that to expand your knowledge and know a different artist. And I don't know, it's really important.
Obviously, right now you haven't been able to do any guest spots over the last year or so. But do you have any plans to go anywhere now? Like now that things are starting to open up?
I mean, like everyone else around the world, I mean, as soon as everything reopens, I'm going to go all around. It's like everyone's plan. Yeah, I got so many different studios that I was about to visit. When the COVID hit, actually, I was in New York. I was with Snuffy. And I got stuck in New York for a week. I spent the whole week with Snuff. And then I was supposed to go to Europe in different studios, and I got all canceled. So Europe for sure. I'm going to go everywhere I can be. That's because I love it. America, I'm working on a visa. It's a really tough situation to get a visa there, but especially now. But I'll get through it. I'm pretty optimistic.
Nice, yeah.
And then, so many other countries. I mean, like, I know Japan now, they kind of like regularize a bit tattoos, so maybe at some point we'll be able to guess there. because I got a lot of friends over Japan. So I'm not sure I'm waiting.
That'd be
on
amazing.
Yeah, Korea and all those countries. I hope one day we'll be able to guest over there.
I know. Yeah. Geez.
Korea is gonna be,
because there's so many amazing tattoo artists in Korea.
oh, Korea, man, it's like they're really good. I don't know. They have this culture. Like, I mean, they're perfectionists, man. It's like I work with a Korean girl in my studio. She's called Hayes. Great artist, and it's amazing. She's really quiet. She's tattooing an own world, and she tattooed my stomach actually.
Nice.
But when you see the precision and like the focus that they put on their work is insane, and it's something really like remarkable. It's crazy, and Koreans have something like that in the culture for everything they do. So yeah, I really hope the country is going to be able to tattoo more, but I don't think it's gonna. Maybe it's going to be less fashionable because now it's allowed, but it's going to come back anyway.
So with your work, you're mainly doing black and gray. You don't do a lot of color in your work.
I think I do colors probably red. I always have red in my drawer. I love red color. I don't know why. Red and black is a famous thing. Like this is one of the first Japanese tattoos been done with red and black. I don't know. It's a really good match. So sometimes I'm happy to add a bit of red. But real colors, I think I did it once. There was a girl that came back from America and she was booked with Eva. And she couldn't make it. She had to come back to Australia for personal reason, and she ended up like booking with me. And when she told me like I was booked with Eva, blah blah blah, I was like, wait, so that means you wanted a tattoo in color? She's like, yeah, but I know you don't do colors, so I'll let you do in black and gray. And I was like, you know what? Let's do colors. And I've never done it, so that was funny because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. And I asked one of the artists, like color artist that was working with me, is like, dude, can you tell me what ink I need to use? So he let me borrow his ink. He made me like every like little colors I needed to use. I was like, okay, let's smash it. And I did it. That was my first color ever. That worked well. I asked the clients to send me health photos and come back if anything is needed in terms of touch up or whatsoever. But it's been like 3 years now. So
great.
It's been good. But I won't do it again.
Yeah.
I won't do it again because I find it not stressful only, but just...
It's very stressful, yeah.
I think like to do colors, you really need to have like that painter eyes, you know what I mean? You really need to be like good with colors. Like if you ask me to do like a portrait real skin tone on a white canvas, I know you start with the green colors and do that, to create like the skin tone colors. I would have no idea how to do it. Like it's so confusing.
Yeah.
My mom paints a lot, and she bought me like that little. Yeah, she bought me like that disc. You spin it, that tells you what colors goes with what color to do color. And she showed me the disc. I couldn't understand it. I was like, Mom, I don't get it. She's like, you dumb kids. She's like, you have a master degree, you do this, you're good at numbers, and you can't understand the color palette. She's like, you're stupid. I was like, yeah, you're right, I'm stupid. And from that day, I was like, I am not trying. I don't want to make a mistake on a client. I don't want to fuck it up. So now I love the look of it, but no, I don't think I'll ever go to colors. It's not my thing.
So are you using a gray wash set, or do you just use water, or what do you use for getting those lighter tones?
You know what? The very first time, actually, that's going to sound dumb, but the very first time I wanted to do gray wash on my body when I was training, after like a couple of weeks practicing for the first time, I literally mixed black and white ink. I thought that would become like gray wash. To tell you how dumb I was, I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up with like kind of a silver gray tattoo on me. I couldn't understand what's going on, and I realized, damn, you just need to mix it with water, idiot. So I started just at home, like mix it up with water in different cups, and I didn't even know that gray wash existed, pre-gray wash made. So I learned that way, and actually I tried once. Some ink are really amazing on the gray wash. It's a perfect mix, and I like it. But I can't explain, but when I do my setup, when I check the photo and the tattoo I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have my clients in front of me and I can analyze the skin tone, I naturally know how many like drops of black I need to put in each cup depending how big it is. It's just, I don't know, probably like muscle memory. I don't know. I'll do it naturally. So I have no idea.
So you kind of just make your own gray wash then?
I'll just do my own. Like about 4 or 5 cups. So I make 4 cups of black and I just go all the way down with water.
Sure.
And you try it out. You try on the client. You try with really soft gray when you erase a bit of the stencil and you see how the skin reacts and how gray turns out. I mean, you can never do black with gray wash because it will never heal that way. So I know where to use the black, but just go with the flow. Yeah. I think that's how I do it. It worked well for the last years.
What cartridges are you using? Are you able to get all the main companies out there in Australia?
Yeah, Australia. It's no, you can have like all the Shanes and the Quadrant and all those brands, Da Vinci. You get all those brands. It's fine. Um, the brand that I use for my liner, which I never had anyone else using it. Actually, it's weird. It's called EZ Revolution. So
Oh, cool.
Easy Revolution. I don't know if I say it right. But they have this 3-round liner extra tight for 6 gouges. And it's literally like a single needle was a 3. So you can pack some fine line without really cutting the skin, as you can probably do sometime the single when you don't know what you're doing. So I use a lot of that Easy Revolution 3-round liner, and then only Quadrants mag, flat and curved.
So you're doing a lot of big projects recently, a lot of like big like half sleeves, and it's actually impressive how you can bust those out in one session.
A lot of my friends are like some artists that I know think I'm really impassioned, so this is where I smash it out. I was like, I want to go home, I want to have a beer with the mates, and I finish my tattoo. It's definitely not that. It's because most of the time I can end up to the studio till 2 a.m. if I have to. I don't mind, but it's like when you draw, you know what I mean? Like one of the most important thing when you draw, like I'm talking about from scratch with a pen and a piece of paper, you need to find your speed. Like it's really important to find your speed. How do you do your line? How do you do your shading? And when I see something in my mind, I want to put it into paper or iPad. You know, if you start to get too slow and too focused on some area, and when you look from far and you realize I got it all wrong because I've been too slow or maybe too quick. So tattoos, like I find my speed and it is quite a bit fast. I realize.
Yeah.
But when I go too slow, in terms of big project like half sleeve, I just end up like losing myself into what I'm doing sometimes. I lose the flow. I'm like, it's taking too much time over there, and it's not normal that I spend like 2 hours on that little photo and that little elements and 4 hours with those lines around here. I just don't like it because I feel like I'm not focused 100%. But when I'm on my normal speed, which is quite fast, I don't think about it. I'm just doing it, and it works well.
Yeah, you need to find that flow.
Exactly. It's really important. Like, really, really important to me. That's what I was trying to tell to my apprentice, for example, like, because he was trying to go a bit quicker, because he was less, like, definitely, like, it took much more time for him to do a tattoo, like, compared to me. But I was like, don't try to make it as fast as me or as fast as this guy or whatever. I was like, everyone needs to find his own flow, you know, it doesn't matter. Because we don't charge per hour anyway, like most of us today. You know, we charge per piece. If I tell a quote to a client, I'm like, it might take me 5 hours. If it takes 8 hours, I'm not going to change the price. It's because I end up with one client a day. So it's for me, I get the job done, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you like doing those big projects, or do you like doing the smaller pieces?
Smaller projects. I started with the really classic smaller stuff. I think right now in the industry, like a fine line tattoo, especially like 4 or 5 years ago when I started, and still today is a little bit, but you have a bigger audience when what you do, it's more cute and quite feminine. Because most of women really will spend more time on looking for the right artist than some boys. As a boy, sometimes it's just, I can't be bothered to text this guy waiting for 8 months. You know, you just want to walk in a shop and get it done.
Yeah.
But girls, it takes much more time, they're more passionate, and they really do big research. So when I started to do those little photos of like little florals, like little, I don't know, I can call that little doodles, like fine lines, like the girls really loved it. Women's really asked me a lot of this. So I kind of get stuck into that small feminine kind of look tattoo, you know, because that's, if that becomes on your only audience, well, you get stuck with it. Yeah. So, and sometimes I find some clients that were ready to do some bigger piece, and then I stopped to posting those small tattoos, but trying to post only the bigger ones. And I was trying to do some flash on my stories to show some other people, like, I can do big, I can't just do small.
Yeah.
And, you know, over time, over 2 years, a year and a half, like, a lot of people start to enjoy the bigger pieces. And, and then that's it. Now I am where I am. But I've never done, like, a big back piece or, like, an entire full leg, like, all wrapped. Not that I don't want it. I think because it takes so much time with the work we do, you know, and you know it costs money for clients, and then you have the wait list and all that stuff. So it takes the time if you have to do a full sleeve, and that's where I ended up realizing I might need to go quicker to try to smash it and do great project. And that's where I find my flow. It's like, damn, I'm actually better when I'm quick. Everything came
but
up
it's nice.
together.
You have a lot of negative space in your big pieces, which is nice. Like it doesn't feel like it's all stacked on top of each other. There's like some nice open spaces.
Well, I think it's something really important for me. This is like a big definition of fine line today. Fine line before for me meant just like literally what it meant, just a fine line, so something really thin and really well done.
Small.
But for me, fine line, you can do a big portrait on half sleeve with a bit of composition around. The fact that you're going to have a lot of skin around and it's going to breathe, really, it's going to be really nice. Shadow on the skin, and from distance, you can really distinguish what is what. It's not really too packed. For me, that becomes fine line. So if you do a portrait, but you pack some black behind, to highlight the face that you're doing, that becomes like traditional more for me. Doesn't matter how realistic it is, it's still a traditional way to do something in terms of tattoo for me.
I know what you mean.
As soon as you can just like do the object itself with a fine, really fine outline around, whatever design you do for me, it's a fine line work.
Yeah, for sure. It's cool though. I like that style that you got going on now, and you include a lot of geometry and different elements like that, which is nice.
Yeah, geometry is always fun. It's always hard because when you do on an iPad, you put a square or a circle, and then the client changes his mind on the placement, and the photo he sent wasn't like exactly how you thought it would be because it's distorted, and your circle or your square doesn't fit at all. You stick your stencil and your square is like that. So geometry is fun to put on the iPad. On the skin, it's different because it's like to look nice and have a nice flow on the skin is pretty hard. So at first, I was putting a lot of straight lines everywhere and squares and frames, but the more I was doing big stencil, bigger and bigger, like shoulders area and wrapping, I ended up realizing it's way too hard to make it look nice. Now I'm still doing geometry, but I give it more flow. I'm trying to space it out a bit more and do less like 90 degrees angle and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nowadays, there's a lot of new tattoo artists coming up. And, it's really easy for people to like go online now and look up tutorials and figure out how to tattoo and whatnot. It seems like you don't have to do a traditional apprenticeship now, There's like a million ways to learn. But that being said, I still feel like there's like some information that artists don't get when they're like learning online and, doing some research on YouTube or whatever. What advice would you give to someone who's like basically trying to figure out how to tattoo, but they're finding it difficult to get an apprenticeship or, To
start? Well, I never really recommended anyone to get an apprenticeship, so maybe it's my bad, but I never had any. Doesn't mean it's a good thing. It worked out for me because I got lucky, but I met some artists that were doing through apprenticeship, and I heard some people that told me, like, I'm going to sign for an apprenticeship at this studio. They told me I'm going to do this and this. What do you recommend? How do you start? And I heard a lot of people ended up doing emails, cleaning the shop, doing the workstation for the artist, phone calls, and pretty much like receptionist for like over 2 years without even touch a machine, a single time a tattoo machine. And this is crazy for me. Like, this is really bad. It's really taking advantage of someone for me. I don't like it. So it's not that I don't recommend anyone to go for an apprenticeship, but it's really important to make sure where you're going. Like, doesn't matter what someone's going to promise you. If after a month nothing happens and you even haven't like, touched a fake skin or a tattoo gun, get the hell out of here. It's no point.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no way to figure out if someone's going to be a good artist until they touch a machine.
Yeah, totally.
You'll never know.
Yeah.
I know back in the day, like I remember because I talked to older tattoo artists that told me like the way to get an apprenticeship back in the day was to come with some drawings, of course, but I had a lot of stories. People say, okay, I'm going to take you as an apprentice. You have an hour to draw me a horse. Horse was a big thing because, the contrast with the muscle on the face and then the actual like anatomy of it. It's a really hard drawing to do, like hands, for example. And I heard a lot of that from some artists that they had to draw a horse in an hour and then that's it. That's how they get the apprenticeship. And then for 2 years, it didn't do anything. So even drawings for me, I have my apprentice. Like, I didn't ask him to draw me something. Just ask him to pay for tattoo gun, come with fake skin, and spend 2 or 3 hours with me, like, every 2 or 3 days during the week when I have time. And I told him, do this, do some lines, do some circles, do that shading. I'll show you how to do a stencil. Let's do a stencil now. And over 2 weeks, I could see if it will be good or not already. It's really quick, So after 2 weeks, I was like, dude, you're going to be good, I'm sure. Like the way you manage the machine, the way you understand the gray wash works, the pressure as well. But then, like, I told him right now, it seems like you know how to do lines. Let's do it on some of your friends. See how it heals. It worked well, and now you're good to go. And then that's the biggest part coming. Can you create a unique design every single day of work? Can you every day come up with something new? Like, or understand your clients and put something down on the iPad and then on the skin. That's the hardest part for me. Not just to do a great tattoo.
Yeah, that's huge. But like also, I see a lot of people go and get apprenticeships with people that are teaching them bad habits or teaching them things that like are, you know, techniques that will limit what they could do, you know, say like pulling really thick lines and, you know, that's the only way they learn. Then when they try to apply that technique to fine line tattooing or portraits, it's just not going to work. So it seems like there's a lot of people that are learning these and then they find it difficult to like branch out of the style that they learned.
What I mean, my best advice is like anyone else will probably give, like that self-taught today or just kind of new in the industry, because most of us started like that.
Yeah.
You just buy some fake skin, watch some videos, learn by yourself, and then you're going to try to contact some artists. I got so many like artists that from around the world, just like not really famous, that just started. It's like, hey buddy, can I just ask you what machine do you use or what ink? I was like, of course. So I tell the machine and equipment that I use, but I'm like, that works for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Right.
And you can do like like an amazing portrait with a magnum shading and even more amazing with a 3-round liner. Yeah. It's doesn't matter. It's just find your own way. But the learning from someone, it's like human. You know, if you've been taught to do it in a certain way, unconsciously you're going to do it the way you've been taught to do it. This is why I'm not really a big fan of apprenticeship. Maybe if you go to a tattoo studio and then you become an apprentice with different tattoo artists. You know what I mean? So if
it's
one
a good
week
studio,
you go with this dude, another week you go with this dude. So everyone works as a team. It's like you're the new kid in the studio, and everyone's happy to teach you a bit what they know. That would work well for me. But in terms of like doing your own stuff, it's like creativity. I'm really trying to not looking too much of Instagram, for example. You know, like not that I don't want to see my friends' artists like work. But the more stuff I see every day, and consciously, I'm going to design something that I probably saw. And I'm going to finish my design. I'm like, that reminds me of something. I was like, damn it, I'm sure an artist that I know did quite similar work. And I have to scroll down, like, for the last 2 days of Instagram. It's like, damn it, I know this guy did already. This is why I came up with the idea. And it happened to me, like, not many times, but a couple of times. So for the last year or so, before COVID, I was really trying to not look too much of Instagram and Pinterest. I was just trying to make it my own, like just like scratch, like come up with the weirdest kind of a shape I can make on Procreate, and pretty much like looking like a cloud is like, what does that shape does it make you think of? And that's how it came up. So it's like, I like that square, I like that thing. Okay, I'm going to turn that square to a portrait, that round into a sun, and blah blah. I think you just get your brain washed, man, but all those informations and designs and inspiration we can have, and sometimes it's even too much for your brain to actually find your own after that.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about tattoo artists posting healed work more? Do you think artists should be posting their healed work more often?
Oh yeah, that's really important. It was really hard for me. I wanted to do it because I know so many artists that have the highlights with so many healed tattoos, and that's great. That's awesome because that's all about this. That's all about the heel. The fresh tattoo always looks good anyway. You know, that redness as well pops out the shading, and then that makes the tattoo like really glowing out of the other tattoos you have around. It's great when it's fresh. But heel sometimes it looks quite faded. You know, as a photo, even if it's not real, but the photo make it faded, so you have to add some contrast. But no filters. I think it's really important. There's no filters and healed shots. It's like, I think it's really useful for the clients as well. But I don't think enough of us do it. For my part as well, I don't do it enough because most of my clients were traveling, so I don't have them anymore. And when I ask my clients, can you send me your hair photo? Sometimes they're not that good. So
it's not a great photo, Yeah,
it's not a great photo. I'm like, I want to put that heel tattoo because I'm proud of it. It's great, but I need to take the shot.
Yeah, for sure. No, exactly.
It's shiny,
blurry.
Yeah, it's all shiny and faded, and lighting is bad, and the guy blurry. Like, dude, I appreciate it, but it's not helping.
Yeah, it's always funny when you get one and it's like you could tell the lens focused on the background and the arm is blurry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. Yes, I used to do a lot of stories like, hey guys, can you send me like some heel photos? but rarely had some good ones. So I should do that more, but I need to run into my clients. But yeah, I think definitely it's a good thing to do, like for a lot of artists. It's good for the clients, it's good for the artist. Yeah. I like that.
You mentioned earlier that when you're using your needles and you're getting like those fine lines, you're using a 3-round liner. Are you ever using a single needle?
I started a lot with single, not started, but after like a couple of months of starting tattooing, single needle was a big thing. I had a lot of clients, they came to me as like, when I was doing the tattoo, when I was starting to do my prep, and it was like, oh, is that a single needle? And I was like, no, that's a bigger size. It's called a 3, and that one's a 5. But it doesn't matter. I'm gonna make the tattoo great. But so many people get focused on the single needle. It became a hashtag single needle, and like people put in their bio, like I'm a single needle artist. Yeah. I love that, but a lot of clients, because they're not in the industry, get a bit kind of not confused, but they get focused on single needle too much. So everything had to be single needle. Yeah. I'm like, dude, if I do that full sleeve single needle, it's gonna cost you a lot, and it's gonna take me forever.
Yeah.
So
you just start telling people, yeah, this is single needle.
Yeah, so suddenly you have to say, yeah, it's single. But I don't know. Seriously, I haven't used single needle for a while now. I really like that 3-round liner from Easy Revolution. I said earlier. I really like that one. Sometimes I use single from, I think it's Da Vinci, the brand. I think it works really well. It's like 14 gouges or something like that. But no, I think because single, it's really, you really specialize in single needle, you're really good at it. And, to do a tattoo the way you do it, for me, like, it will take me 2 sleeves to do a tattoo like you do, like with single. Like, it's, because I know single, it's not like, you don't do it like a traditional way with a 14-round liner, neo traditional, and you just dig it in and go straight all the way.
Whole line, yeah.
You can't do that because most of the time you might end up like cutting the skin and not healing well and having a scar and blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot of times, it's going back in again and again on the same spot. And as I said, the single was not matching like how quick I wanted a tattoo. So I had to stop with the single. That was not for me.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so in what other ways do you think we've seen progression in the tattoo community? I know we've seen a lot of advancements in the equipment that we use and the supplies we're using now, but in what other ways do you think we've seen the tattoo community progress over the last few years?
To be honest, right now, I like the way the industry is going. Like, we all respect each other. We don't really check the numbers. Like, if I have 80,000 followers, you have 5,000 followers, gonna have the same respect. I love that thing. Like, if you're a verified artist on Instagram or you're not, it's the same idea. If you work from that studio or the other, I don't give a crap. And I like that because I found that when I started tattoo, I found when I had like just a couple thousand followers, I was nobody in the industry, I didn't know much. And all of a sudden, like more famous artists started following me. And I was like, my God, I'm so honored, thanks a lot, blah, blah, blah. And many of those guys were like, dude, don't be, it's fine, it's just a number, it's just you'll be good, you're good at your work, do what you're doing, don't think I'm like a god or whatsoever because I have more followers. So I get a lot of artists like that put me down to earth saying like, I love that, you know what I mean, doesn't matter about number. So at first I didn't like the Instagram vibe, like you need followers and blah, 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 and likes. And then the idea of Instagram to pushing the likes away from the photos, I loved it, so you can't see how many likes people get. And now we see like many people in different industry, not tattoo, but they get verified and they get a lot of numbers and they get published in some whatever it is, and you ended up, but this guy is not better than the other guy that's not famous. So right. I think tattoo now become really, really like artistic, like really respect each other, and I love that. So it's a good part of it right now. Like,
and it's a small community on Instagram, isn't it? Like Instagram has made it a small community. Yeah. So like artists now from all over the world can like get to know each other, and even like just, getting to meet you in LA, and it's like you never would have met those people if it wasn't for like the small community on Instagram, which is pretty cool.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Allow us to travel and meet different people and culture. I love it. And so many good things about tattooing. Not just like the work we do every day, but what's behind it as well. Yeah,
it's such a great job.
Yeah.
So the last question I have for you is, if you could name 3 artists that you would love to get tattooed by that you haven't been tattooed by yet, who would they be?
Well, that's a tough one. It's really hard. It's like, what's your favorite music artist? It's really hard to give 3.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, I tell you, Snuffy is like a brother for me. I love this dude. I had such awesome time with that dude. So I tattooed him when I was stuck in New York during the COVID, and I want him to tattoo me for sure at some point.
Nice.
But it's not just like he's a great artist, it's because it's someone I respect a lot, and he's a friend of mine, really good friend.
Yeah.
So I can't really say three. It's hard. I love Mowgli. Mowgli is one of my biggest inspiration. I never had a chance to really see him in real life. I mean, when I started my geometry stuff for the very first time, I didn't even know he existed. I started to do some geometry. I was like, oh, maybe that can work in tattoo. And then one day, one of my roommates told me, oh, do you know this guy? Look at that. Look a bit at your work. And I look at Mowgli work. I was like, it doesn't look like my work. it looks like I'm shit compared to this guy. So Mowgli was one of my biggest inspiration. Always trying to not look at Mowgli. I don't want to look at his work too much because, as I said earlier, you know, it might confuse my brain in terms of creativity. But I remember like 3 years ago, maybe when I found his Instagram, I was like blown away. Of course, like Oscar, Ballas, you know, Goldie, Eva, all those artists is it's a big list. I can't reduce it to 3. I would say
I know, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really, really hard, man. It's really hard. So I don't know. Probably Oscar because, you know, he's one of the biggest in the industry and he's such a legend as well. He brought up like that creativity into the industry and that's really helpful for all of us. And I don't know, yeah, Snuffy, Oscar, and maybe Mowgli. I would say those 3. But there's a long list.
Yeah,
I got
nice.
tattooed by Tritoin as well. So my mate Tree, tattooed my hands, tattooed my back. Same, that's a brother, so I already have a tattoo from him. It would be on the list if I didn't have a tattoo yet on me. Yeah.
For sure.
Tree is
That's cool.
Such a great artist, man. Tattooed that flowers on my hand like in 45 minutes.
What did he do on your back? Oh yeah, that's right. That big the is it crane? Is it?
Yeah, that's the crane and the lady. Well, that's I was in Oakland. Was at his place, like just like chatting. I was like, dude, can you tattoo me tomorrow because your client's gonna finish early? I was like, nah, I'm not tattooing you. So I forced him a little bit, and then he was like, okay, I'll tattoo you, but you do the design. I can't be bothered to do flowers on you, and I don't want to do a design. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And we ended up doing the design together, like in less than an hour. Just smashed it out, having a coffee, doing a tattoo, and he did that tattoo in probably an hour and a half, and he liked it. He was like, that was a bit different than the flowers, so he loved it. Yeah, Tree is a hell of a good artist to hang around for sure, in person as well.
Great stuff, man. Well, thanks for doing this with me. It was it was like
pleasure, man.
Yeah, it's been great to talk to you, and hopefully I see you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hopefully I see you in one of these countries one of these days, wherever you end up going.
Oh, we will, man. I'll be traveling a lot, and once I be in Europe, you're not going to be that far anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Cool. Well then, I look forward to seeing you soon, man.
Likewise.
All right. Thanks again. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you're enjoying this podcast, please be sure to follow on social media and wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Spotify or Apple or Google. You can find me on Instagram at jankyjake_tattoos, and this page is at the_fine_line__. So many underscores. If there's a specific artist that you'd like me to have on the show, please feel free to send me a message, and I'll see what I can do to get him on. Once again, my name is Jake Berry, and this is The Fine Line.